Spiritual Advisor Francesca. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel and clicking on this video. Today's video is going to be a love psychic reading on Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello, a current update on their status, what's going on between them, where are they in their union process, and how are each of them thinking and feeling, and if any course of action is going to be taking place, and maybe some insights and predictions. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe, and if you like the video, go ahead and like the video. I'm a spiritual advisor and clarisentient Reiki healer. I specialize in love and relationships, spiritual and life path, career and finances, personal development, and much more. If you want to book any of my readings or any of my services, you can go ahead and check me out on consciousful.com. I also have other services such as love Reiki healings, negativity removals, and I also have new products coming in which will help you with your health, your well-being on a physical, emotional, and mental level. Go ahead and check it out at consciousful.com/Francesca's Fusions. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the status about Shawn and Camila at this time. So as I was tuning in to their current status, I was picking up on a lot of conflicted energy. They are in union, they are speaking, however, they are in a process where they are trying to break free from ritualistic toxic patterns that once led for them to live in constant conflict, bickering, and resentment. At this time, I do see them facing a lot of emotional conflict, especially when it comes to releasing things from the past. There's a lot of grudges that they're holding on to, specifically Camila. She's holding on to a lot of grudges, but they're going through a rebirth at this time, a rebirth of the paradigm, a rebirth in how they communicate, a rebirth in how they exchange communication, how they show up in the dynamic and in their love. But they are in pure reconciliation. They are indeed in union. It is true, they are talking. It is true, they are meeting up. They are hanging out. They are being intimate. They are immersed in each other's lives right now. I do see that there is a lot of disappointments that they're currently facing. They're trying to work through a transformation that is kind of like creating a lot of turbulence in their mind. Specifically Shawn. Shawn is being dealt with like constantly feeling like he's done something wrong, constantly needing to apologize, but then trying to like approach her differently, but then constantly being felt like he's doing the wrong thing. And the thing is that Shawn right now is very ambitious to actually perform differently and approach Camila differently. But every time they may have a conversation that may be a little bit too confrontational, they constantly go back into like a very wary state of being where they're very exhausted. They become very pessimistic, and it kind of like reinforces this hopelessness in Shawn that makes him feel like the vision that he has about this connection is very like murky. They're both breaking out of ritualistic patterns that kept them bonded to resentment, to self-sabotage, and to toxicity. They're also trying to break free from codependency, because the thing about twin flames and Shawn and Camila that I've noticed is that they typically go into the dynamic and the connection in a very codependent manner, because the connection is so intense and it's also so grounding, yet it's so holy and sacred, it becomes like addictive. But then going into these cycles where your twin flame, right, is trying to reflect to you your shadow aspect, it can be very triggering. And that's kind of like the cycle that they're in right now. They're in a cycle where they're trying to rejuvenate themselves, trying to come out of their shadow aspect, right? Trying to release themselves from the codependent, dense, 3D energy, and they're trying to ascend to like a higher consciousness. But in this process, there's a lot of ego death, there's a lot of pride, there's a lot of triggering, there's a lot of resentment that's coming up, there's a lot of forgiveness that needs to be taking place, and there's a challenge with balancing out their emotions and balancing out their state of mind. They're constantly bickering. They're very lost on how to get on the same page when it comes to forgiving things and leaving things on the past and then starting anew. And then also even like with their current dynamic, like when they're hanging out, it's like it goes really well, and then suddenly like a fling or like a side chick or a side dude can be like texting them in the middle of their encounter and their hangout, and then suddenly they fall back into this conflict and division, and these disagreements are like ongoing. But it's only happening because right now they're being pushed by divine to kind of like ascend, right? Ascend their current state of mind, their current status. But it's hard. It's really hard, and then it gets them back into a space where they feel overwhelmed, confused, divided, not knowing if this connection is the right thing or is it a tragedy. But then knowing that they're deeply in love with each other, right? But feeling like the struggle is too hard to overcome and transcend. So they're going through a lot, but they keep coming together, and they're keeping each other in each other's lives. And a lot of people know that they're together. It seems as though like people in their inner circle and in their close ties, they know that they're like have reconciled. They know that they're together. They actually want to stray away from public recognition because they don't want to have more burdens on their connection, because they already have to deal with like a lot of responsibility when it comes to reconciling like one-on-one, that having other people involved, they feel like there's going to be naysayers, and there already is naysayers, and they just don't want that. There's a lot of fear that needs to be transcended, a lot of jealousy that needs to be transcended. They seem to be like mending a lot of their hostility and resentment with sexual and physical intimacy, which is good, but the conversations are hard to have. Like, so they're like mending and healing through quality time and physical touch, but when it comes to like having these deep conversations, they're not using their words wisely, specifically Shawn. And then he instantly regrets it. But I'm seeing like Shawn like defending himself and like being a little bit too detached, not being emotionally available to the point where like Camila wants him to be. Like, he's there physically, and he's also there like trying to nurture her. But when it comes down to like saying specific words or nurturing her on a specific level and being very assertive and using those words of affirmation to assure her that like he's sorry, and then he's gonna be more open and he's gonna be more emotionally available, like he's not doing that. And when he does, Camila's not feeling it. So they're having like a strong hot and cold energy going back and forth. Again, they're trying to make amends. They have returned to each other. I see a lot of texting, a lot of calling, meeting up, spending days together. But because they are going through a clearing of karma, basically, there's a lot of stuckness. There's a lot of fear to be true to themselves, to overcome tough lessons and codependency. And because they also fear potentially giving their all, because they don't know if this connection is trustworthy enough to fully surrender. They're both in this very like hot and cold energy, like emotionally available one day and then super available the next day. And then they're going through a lot of pleasure and pain because of these highs and lows. And I see them both fearing vulnerability, fearing commitment, both of them at times hiding their feelings from each other, feeling a little bit insecure, coming off a little bit insincere, but it's only because they want to protect themselves. It's out of the form of self-protection. So there can be a continuous cycle of mind games because of this fear that they may have when it comes to surrendering completely. But overall, what's going to happen moving forward is that they're going to begin to heal a lot more, really just allow the love to take them towards the path of reconciliation and allow themselves to get into that next phase of union, letting go of jealousy and paranoia and caring what other people think, and fully embracing the struggle, right? Fully embracing the fact that there is going to be obstacles, but the fact that they can help themselves, that maybe that they can get professional help. Maybe they both can acknowledge, hey, I have my wrong, you have your wrong. We love each other though, let's make it work. It's me and you against the world, darling. Like, that's how they are going to be moving forward. And it's beautiful to see that they will be overcoming temptation. They will be overcoming their shadow. They will be overcoming depression and stuckness. But it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take shadow work. It may take some therapy. It may take several interventions as well. But moving forward, we will be hearing about them sharing time together, receiving gifts from each other. I do see that we're going to be hearing from it. And then there's also an offer of commitment that's being brought to the table that I do see Camila receiving. So we'll look more into it. Let's go ahead and look at how Camila is thinking and feeling about Shawn. So let's go ahead and see how Camila is thinking and feeling about Shawn and the action she's going to be taking. Okay, so I got some deep insights regarding where her current headspace is at. So basically at this time, Camila feels as though there's no way of going back. She knows that she won't fall out of love with him. She knows that this may even be her future husband. But right now, Camila is being challenged with needing to think outside of her typical emotional patterns. And she's also needing to question her logic, because Camila has fallen, unfortunately, victim to their conflict, which is Shawn kind of being defensive and defending his beliefs as to why they broke up way back when, as to why he dealt with certain people. Camila has trouble accepting the things that he says, and then she also has trouble hearing what Shawn has to say for the decisions that she made when she was hurt, you know, this year, last year, and prior. So right now there is like a throat chakra impediment and blockage that she is dealing with. She is having a hard time dismissing certain things. She feels like she needs to at times like avoid him in order to heal. She's trying to get her head in the right space in order to actually be able to have this new beginning. She's at a space of rejuvenating herself. She's also at a space where she feels like she needs to clear out her own karma. She needs to let go of loss. She's been fearing change and approaching this situation differently so they could actually go into a new love cycle. She's trying to team up with him to actually create balance and create a new romantic cycle. But in the process, she's not sacrificing her pride or the way that she feels and that resentment. And she's she's avoiding releasing anger and grudge. And the thing is that she's been having like interventions with friends and family members, and they're helping her see a part of their conflict and their disagreements in a way that she wouldn't be able to, because she's so hijacked by needing to feel like she needs an apology, or needing to feel like what Shawn did wasn't right, or needing to feel as though what she did is justifiable because Shawn went another way, right? So it's like she's going through an excessive ego marathon, where she's just like, but I'm right, right? Like, just tell me that I'm right. But it's like Shawn is trying his best to his capabilities of like trying to be mature and mend the situation, but he's constantly being bombarded with like, but you did this, but you did that, but you make me feel bad that I did this, you know, kind of like those kind of conversations. So right now, Camila is at a very important phase in the connection and in her life. She's at a phase where she's actually releasing internal chaos. She's gaining suddenly insight about the anger that she has that has been keeping them in an unhealthy paradigm, and keeping them in an unhealthy boundaries that has been inhibiting growth, right? Inhibiting progress. And she's recognizing that having these boundaries or acting out when she doesn't hear exactly what she wants, or has things play out the way that she feels gives her justice, right? She feels like it's not healthy anymore. And she has had so much like indecision to believe that she was wrong. Like, she's been so stubborn, right? So in denial about her maybe feeling like, maybe I'm not wrong, right? Like, now she's actually recognizing that, hey, maybe I'm playing a role in us constantly being disappointed. Now she's thinking, how can I approach this differently? And she's also trying to find a belief that this is the right thing to do, to still stay together, to still be together, because the twin flame dynamic is so triggering, because it's so healing, because the twin flame journey is meant to kind of like reflect to you the lost version of yourself. Your partner shows you your darkest aspects, shows you the lost version of yourself from the light, and is meant to also at the same time, right, bring out the most empowered, potent version of yourself. And because the connection is so tumultuous but also sacred at the same time, sometimes it creates a lot of fleeting energy in Camila, and that's why she feels this way. So she's been needing to get answers. I'm seeing her still connecting with a clairvoyant or a psychic, and kind of like getting encouragement, getting inspired to have that vision again, because she's been going through so much lack of faith and disparity. She is now beginning to question her lack of faith, and now she's going against her ego. She's going against her emotional imbalance, and now she's creating moderation, and she's finding her worth again, and she's not allowing the tumultuous energy of their twin flame connection to kind of get her off her prime. And she is at a phase where she's going through ego death. She's going through a lot of rejuvenation. She's finding herself getting enlightened by letting go of rigid patterns, right? Stuck, stubborn patterns that had her feeling like a victim, had her feeling very unworthy and unloved and sad. And now she's trying to be practical, and she's trying to negotiate with herself and with Shawn, and she's forgiving, and she's trying to bring in wisdom. And this is how I see it moving forward as well. Like, this energy is just starting. And she's wanting to no longer not be merciless. Like, she doesn't want to be ruthless anymore, because she kind of has been. And she's creating moderation, right? And she's creating harmony, and she will be finding balance and peace. And the action I see her taking overall is hanging out with him more, changing her mindset, manifesting positivity with him, finding her worth at the same time, going through the shadow work, changing her mind. Like, hey, you know what? It's all good. Let's connect. Let's forget about that. Let's not worry about that. Hey, you know what? I am sorry that I went with that person. I am sorry that I was showing it off. Because there's a lot of grudges that they may actually have when it comes to like social media and compromising their image on social media with other people. There's a lot of grudges revolving around pettiness and gossip and envy and jealousy. So she's going to begin to kind of like reveal more that, you know, she's no longer gonna hold them hostage to old events and old experiences. And I see her taking accountability for some things, and then Shawn being able to like feel relief, and then Shawn also taking accountability. But I see her clearing out a lot of negativity that she didn't know she was holding on to, right? Because it was like her shadow self and her ego holding her to that. And now she's going to be realizing like, oh my gosh, me clearing this out is alleviating so much more. I feel free. I feel worthy. I feel like I'm healing. And I can actually focus on myself while falling back in love with Shawn, while co-creating a partnership. I see her getting in touch, communicating, making an agreement to compromise, and really fully begin to be more vulnerable and let go and begin to give and receive affection effortlessly, having a whole new attitude, being excited, discovering the freedom of what it's like to fall in love without allowing the past to burden them and burden the present moment, allowing peace to restore the harmony in their connection. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful how she's going to move forward. And it's also is for divine feminine in general, right? And there's going to be a lot of healing, adapting to being lighthearted, changing the way that she expresses herself, being ambitious, to be open-minded, thinking outside of her typical thought process, and trying it one more time. Because again, like I said, she feels like there's no going back. She knows she's head over heels, and a new romantic cycle is here, and this is just the beginning. And she even feels, and she knows, because, you know, Shawn has mentioned it, and I mean, she goes to a clairvoyant or a psychic, and they're mentioning marriage, they're mentioning engagement, and that is kind of written for them. I don't know if you guys have seen like the first videos that I did about Shawn and Camila, but I told you guys that eventually they may be getting married. I forgot what year. If one of you guys want to mention it in the comments, what year I said they'll get married. But yeah, I mean, it's still written for them, and it's really nice to see Archangel Michael assisting Camila in her healing and just helping her get back to her childlike self, and be open-minded to fostering a new way of bringing in a new love cycle between them, and bringing love into the situation, and just allowing things to flow. So let's go ahead and see how Shawn is thinking and feeling about Camila at this time. Being driven by his ego. So at this time, he is feeling a little bit anchored down and weighed down by the boundaries that Camila has placed on him, because he feels as though there may be in and out of instability, and there's also a lot of like gaslighting, but there's also a need for him to like focus on how he could bring awareness to them both so they don't fall victims to their circumstances. It seems as though Shawn is actually a little bit more enlightened than Camila in his spiritual process, but specifically the connection itself. Like, he's more enlightened about how to fix things and how to work on things and how to make improvements, and maybe like the inner child wounds that are being played out, and the love languages that aren't being used that should be used. And he seems to be like very educated. Like, he has a really good mentor. I'm not sure who it is, but it's very, very well, like the mentor that's guiding him, they're doing it greatly. They're doing a stupendous job. And he seems to be at a space where he's making peace with failure. He's also beginning to get out of this prideful stuckness. He's beginning to come out of procrastinating and limited beliefs and being victim of the anger, being being reactive to Camila. And he's actually embodying like a whole new attitude where he's like accepting and withdrawing from mind games, and he's checking in on himself, getting into alignment, and suddenly like choosing happiness. And he's retreating a lot, like constantly retreating. Like, okay, Camila may set a boundary, she plays mind games, like whatever the case is, he goes and he gets mentored and he meditates, and then he reconnects, and then he comes back and he tries to work on it, and he keeps working on it. And it's just amazing what he's doing, because he's really transforming the connection internally so there can be external changes. It's incredible. He's feeling like it's worth to give this relationship a chance. He understands that there's a lot of differences that they may have. He's really understanding that he needs to keep an open mind at this time. And instead of feeling like confined and imprisoned, how he has been feeling, because he has been feeling kind of like conflicted and under this mental restriction, he's changing his perception. He's really taking a good look at things from the past, and he's taking ownership, especially when it comes to like love affairs, and maybe how he keeps also feeling sorry for himself and making her feel sorry for love affairs that she could have had. He's really changing the way that he should approach her. So the action I see him taking moving forward is he's going to be creating an agreement. And it's crazy because Camila's also at a space where she's ready to create an agreement. She's ready to compromise. But he's going to be willing to cooperate. I see him at a space where he's freeing himself from resentment, detaching from trying to control things in a certain way. He's going to begin to like explore like a whole new way of navigating their situation, so they can be less passive aggressive and have a sense of direction about where they're headed towards. So I see him talking to her more, giving her the space that she needs, but letting her know that like, hey, I'm wanting to have a relationship with you. I'm wanting to make these changes. I'm willing to give you the time that you need, but I'm optimistic that you're my lover. You're the one for me. I am in love with you still. I don't see myself letting you go. I have a vision of us creating a life together. I want to be your husband. I want to be supportive of you, like whatever you need. I want to take accountability if you need me to. I want to be compassionate, at the same time responsible, and I want to be the leader in your life that you need. I want to be your husband because I know I love you, and I don't want you to let me go, and I don't want you to let go of it just because it's too hard. Like, let's work on it together. So he's suggesting for them to actually get help together. Like, he's gonna be having a conversation with her to like, let's get help together. Let's have these people mentor us. I've gotten so much help from this mentor. Let him help us together. Let him help you. I feel like his mentor is a guy for some reason, but it's amazing the conversations that he's going to have with her that are really going to help him and her uplift their connection, savor the moment, really mend their friendship as well, right? Because the best partner is always like, you know, the best friend, right? Really choosing for both of them to develop a new sense of awareness. Shawn is going to be helping Camila and him tap into like a whole new awareness and a whole new level of their spiritual bond, and really helping them find new answers for their issues and resolution to be proactive when there is issues, right? Because there's always going to be ups and downs in a connection. So he's super excited because he has like all these ideas about how to bring back the stability, and he's so ready to release. He's so ready to bring in that peace. And I see him super excited, motivated, manifesting moderation and peace. And the action I see him taking is just bringing in opportunities, ideas, emotional exchange, apologies for them to heal, for them to transcend karma and really get to a space where they start new. And so he's really being bold at this time to have a new approach, to let go of the burdens of the past, take responsibility, right? And but also take accountability when it comes to how he was also holding the connection hostage to the past because he was reacting to her, right? And he's taking ownership of that. So very soon he's also going to want to expose this online. I see him taking initiative, like Shawn may be taking initiative to actually expose their connection online. He's going to be exposing it to their family real soon. He's going to make a toast to them. This may be headed towards the holidays, but a toast to them, a toast to their connection. And I see him getting ready to take it to the next level. So not only getting help, but already contemplating engagement, already contemplating official commitment, but then like hopping into engagement. Not yet, but real soon we may be seeing this. So, okay, star friends, so that's all I have for Shawn and Camila. Let me know if you have any specific questions you want me to answer. If you have any specific questions that you want answered about a celebrity or in your own life, you can go ahead to consciousfultarot.com and book your reading. Let me know in the comments below, what did you like most about this video? What do you want to see me talk about next when it comes to Shawn and Camila? Who do you want me to do a celebrity love reading for? And if you want to get a personal Reiki healing, a group Reiki healing, or a love Reiki healing to help you and your lover come back together, or just help you and your friends or family, you can go to consciousfultarot.com. If you want to book a live reading with me or an audio recorded reading, you can go to consciousfultarot.com as well. And I also have new products coming in that can help you with your health, wealth, your mind, body, and soul, and your love and your abundance. So go ahead, check me out. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I love you guys, star friends. Bye now.